Hi guys, that's Alex and my skeptic. Today I want to go back in history and talk about Ukrainian crisis and actually what's happening now and why it's happening. So if you live in Western Hemisphere and you just a regular Joe and you listen to radio or you can hear it in the media that Russia is attacking Ukraine. Probably you don't even know where's Ukraine. You heard about Russia. You don't know where's the two. It doesn't matter. So Russia is attacking Ukraine. What I can hear, as a regular person, I can hear that it's a small democratic country. It's not actually small, it's a big country in Europe. And why the hell is Russia is attacking them? Probably you have this kind of question. Because you don't really know anything about that. Don't know much about Ukraine. That Russia is a big country, is always responsible for different stuff or for trying to fight somebody, trying to poison somebody, trying to bomb somebody. You always heard about that. Uh, for sure, you heard that Russia is blamed for everything what's happening uh, with China. But why the hell they attacking Ukraine? Why they decided to take this country? Is it like Iraq was planning to take a Kuwait with Saddam Hussein because of the oil-rich Kuwait? What the hell is Russia doing in Ukraine? Why are they attacking Ukraine? Is Ukraine an oil-rich state or why? And for sure, you will think that the Putin, who's been in power for 20 years, probably heard it. He's like an evil. Yeah, he's very close to Adolf Hitler. It's probably his relatives or his son of Adolf, because he's so evil. It's unimaginable. Anyway, that's probably what you will. And now there are different talks, and people are talking about that, and the political experts are talking about Ukraine, that Russia is attacking Ukraine, bombing Ukraine. They don't really tell you why they're doing that. No, they're saying because Ukraine, it's a democracy state, and because Russia, they have and especially Putin, they have, he wants to recreate the Soviet Union. Uh, Probably that's why he wants to take it, or maybe because he wants to go even further, like he wants to take Europe. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, you see, I was born in Ukraine. And when yesterday I heard about it, I was terrified. I could never think that something like that could happen. You know, I knew there was tension between Russia and Ukraine for years, but not like that. I'm telling you, I was terrified. I went to bed at 1:30 and I I woke up at 4 because I just couldn't sleep. My heart was beating like crazy. I didn't know what to think. And when my son came up to me and said that Russia is attacking Ukraine and Ukraine is being attacked, I said, no, no, no. You're lying. But then he proved it to me, and I was shocked. I didn't think that it will go that far. And for sure, it's crazy. You can see the rockets firing, and then you can see all the bombings and the fire and the people crying, and it's like a war. It's crazy. And- But let's look a bit back. You see, probably for now, you will think that the Russia is responsible for everything, and it's true because it's attacking Ukraine. But let's look a bit in depth in this way. You see, do you remember the Caribbean crisis when the Soviet Union they wanted to put the missiles in Cuba? Probably, yeah, it's been a long time, but I remember the story. The United States said that they're gonna fight everything. They're gonna fight for the land because Cuba is close, very close to forest. So if you're gonna turn the page, right now, Russia is at the same. You see, after the collapse of Soviet Union, the Gorbachev and the West leaders made an agreement that the NATO, it's like a protected bloc, won't move any further from where they been at that time, and it's been agreed. Even right now, the West leaders will tell you that no, 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 it wasn't, it was, and now there are papers with all the signs, there are documents to prove it. But at that time, the Russia, it was fully not just the Russia, all the other states from the Soviet Union, they all went independent, and Russia is the biggest one, was fully collapsed without industry, without anything. The United States and Europe could do anything with that. They've been asking for help. Anyway, to make story short, NATO, seeing that the Russia is not doing anything, at that time, even when the Putin became a leader of Russia, he decided that it's good, it's going to be good for Russia to join the NATO bloc. But for sure, he was rejected with his proposition, and he decided to build his country again, to rebuild it, because, as I said, after the collapse of Soviet Union, Russia was like in ruins. So while he was rebuilding his country and he was staying kind of quiet, he was a good leader at that time. No one said anything, but he was an evil leader. Russia was slowly making back to the world stage. NATO, with its promises not to move any further, decided to move further, close to Russian border. Right now, if you're going to look at the map of Europe and the world, you will see that there are NATO bases all around Russia. It's not Russian soldiers in Europe, no. It's NATO bases, mostly American soldiers in every country. Yeah, they're like a peacekeepers, but they all surround in Russia. After years, Russia grew up, become again a superpower, rebuild its military, like China did. Now it's a superpower. And for them, it's incredibly precious moment to lose something, a border state like Ukraine, as I said before, imagine like Caribbean and Cuba has Russian missiles pointing to the state. That's what's happened right now. Ukraine was driven by the American forces because the Ukraine government, it's American puppets. They do what American wants, and they said they want to join NATO. They want to create a bomb, you know, and the Russia is evil. After the revolution of 2014, when the Ukrainian president fled because of the revolt, and for sure, for Ukrainian, they're saying it's like a revolution of freedom, but trust me, it was a revolt, and for sure, Americans been there helping to change because it was a pro-Russian government regime, so they decided to change it to pro-American government regime, like they always do in any other country. Even if you're going to look at those countries around the world right now, probably they feel very happy, like Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya. They're enjoying the freedom right now. After the United States been there, killed everybody, and what? They're like in ruins right now. So they decided that the Ukraine going to be the next state with this one. Ukraine, they've been pushing. So after the revolt, one of the Ukrainian parts, which is close to Russia, who's mostly Russian speakers, they didn't agree with the revolt and they wanted to be separate from Ukraine. The Ukraine sent tanks there, and for 8 years they've been fighting. It's the Ukrainian people. They, for sure, they have a support from Russian, but it was the Ukrainian people fighting for the land with the Ukrainians. So it was a civil war for 8 years. Poroshenko, the new leader, and then Zelensky, they haven't done anything to stop it. Even they've been planning. 2015, they made their next move. They agreed that Ukraine will make any possible changes and they will recognize those parts of Ukraine with the separatists as independent or autonomical part of Ukraine. They had to do few things like recognize the language, because probably you don't know, but in Ukraine there is one official language. It's Ukrainian. Even the 70% of the people speak Russian. But the Russian language is nowhere to be found. It's not even a small language group in Ukrainian. In Ukraine, they gave different people in Ukraine their small language groups. You know, Tatars, maybe Hebrew, maybe Polish, but not Russian. 70% of people speak Russian at all, but it's not even a language right now. But anyway, look further. For 8 years, and they've been fighting. They made those agreements in Minsk, and Ukraine had to make it move. What do you think? For 6 years, what Ukraine did? Nothing. Nothing. They even moved on a small part, on a scale. Nothing. They haven't done anything. They've been saying to the European leaders that they're gonna do it, but they never done anything. Nothing. So for 8 years, the war, for 6 years, the agreement, which Ukraine haven't done anything. It's like a frozen conflict. Nothing is happening there. And it's a growing hatred to Russia. Because Russia is not separatist, it's not civil war, it's Russia fighting. Russia is fighting. Russia is fighting. Imagine if every day the media will tell you that Putin is evil, and before 2014, he was a good guy. After revolt in 2014, he became an evil guy. So for 8 years, if someone, the media, will tell you that there is evil guy, he wants to recreate the Soviet Union, he wants to take our motherland of Ukraine, he wants to fight the whole world. Imagine, the people are crazy there right now. They believe in those stuff. And it's not been said once or twice. It was said millions of times that he is evil and he wants to recreate the Soviet Union. A few days ago, Putin made a statement, and he said that it's not working anymore like that. Either Ukraine will be independent and neutral country, because Ukraine said we want to be in a NATO bloc. It's on the border. It's on the Russian border. NATO bloc. Imagine. And Ukraine been fighting for that. So Russia said, no NATO's border near Russian border. Ukraine must be neutral, independent, neutral country, like Finland, in those things, or Austria, or Switzerland. He said Ukraine must be neutral, and the NATO must move back to the original NATO style. And there were different topics and different talks about that, but trust me, nothing happened. Nothing happened. So a few days after, Putin made a serious comeback, and he said that he's tired of that, and he sees that the Russia, if he won't do any moves, then it's going to be dangerous for them. And the Ukraine is not doing anything. NATO is staying there. Ukraine wants to join NATO. There is still a war in Donbass. And yes, he decided to that in Ukraine. But that's to make story short, that's the story. It's maybe a bit complicated, and it's not full for sure, but that's how Ukraine become like that right now. And Russia came to Ukraine to fight. Trust me. It's nothing to do with the Ukraine. It's all Western countries. They've been pushing Ukraine for that. And they knew that the Ukraine is on the border with Russia. And the first strike, who will get? Ukraine, not United States. United States is 1,000 miles away from Russia. But Ukraine is just a step. So the West, the NATO, they pushed Ukraine to this because of the puppet regime. Then for sure you're blaming Putin. And for sure, maybe what's done is crazy. But he said that there are no other choices than this. Think about it.